He walked out, a man Donald Trump appointed, a man who sat in the most classified briefings the American government conducts, a man who read every intelligence assessment, every satellite report, every signals intercept, and every human intelligence product about this war every single day since February 28th. A man whose job was to know everything, not the version of everything that press briefings produce, not the version of everything that Pentagon spokespersons calibrate for public consumption, not the version of everything that gets filtered through political communications teams before it reaches the American public. The actual everything, the casualty numbers before they are managed, the battlefield assessments before they are optimized, the intelligence failures before they are explained away, and the trajectory projections before they are replaced with confidence language. He read every piece of classified information about what this war actually is, what it has actually cost, and where it is actually going. That man read all of it, and then he resigned. Not quietly, not with a carefully worded statement about pursuing other opportunities or spending more time with family. He resigned with a statement citing misgivings about the administration's war with Iran. A sitting Trump-appointed senior intelligence official using the word misgivings in a public resignation statement about an active war his administration is conducting? Misgivings. That word is doing the most work of any word spoken publicly about this conflict since it began. Because misgivings from a person without classified access is an opinion. Misgivings from a person who has read every classified assessment about this war for 20 days is a warning. And the specific shape of what he has seen, the specific intelligence that a person with his access reads every morning before most Americans are awake, is the thing that no official statement, no press briefing, and no presidential social media post has told you. It is the thing that made him decide that continuing to serve was something he could not do in good conscience. Stay with me, because what a Trump-appointed intelligence official's resignation over this war tells you is what the classified picture actually looks like. It reveals what the assessments say that the press conferences do not. What the trajectory projections show that the official narrative replaces with confidence language. What the intelligence community has been telling the administration privately that the administration has been contradicting publicly for 20 days is the story that changes how you read everything else about this conflict. He knew everything. He walked out. And the question that his resignation forces into the open is the most important question this conflict has produced. What did he see? Before we continue, a quick note. Many of the events we cover on this channel follow recurring patterns: economic stress, geopolitical escalation, and systemic shocks. While researching these patterns, I created a detailed report called the Global Crisis Survival Guide, where I break down the warning signals that often appear before major global disruptions and practical strategies for navigating them. If you are interested in reading the full report, you will find it linked in the description below. Now, let's continue with today's analysis. Let's start with what a senior Trump-appointed intelligence official actually has access to. Because the weight of a resignation from this specific position requires understanding what this specific position knows. The American intelligence community is 17 separate agencies, including the CIA, the DIA, the NSA, and others. The product of all 17 agencies flows upward through a synthesis process that produces the assessments reaching the top of the national security structure. A senior intelligence official sits at the top of that process. They read the CIA's human intelligence from inside Iran. They read the NSA's signals intelligence, the intercepted communications between Iranian military commanders making the decisions that produced the missiles landing in Israel and the Gulf. They read the NGA's satellite imagery analysis of Iranian runways and American bases across the Gulf. They read the DIA's military intelligence assessments of Iranian casualty rates and missile inventory. They read the real casualty reports before the numbers are decided upon for public release. They read the classified trajectory projections that show where this war is going if it continues on its current path. These projections incorporate the IRGC's confirmed new missile inventory and the destroyed air defense architecture. They read all of it every morning for 20 days, and they resigned, citing misgivings about the war that all of it describes. Let's place this resignation in its proper historical context. Intelligence officials resigning in the middle of active combat operations is not a common event. During the Vietnam War, such resignations came years into the conflict, after official optimism had been thoroughly debunked. During the Iraq War, the intelligence failures regarding weapons of mass destruction produced resignations after the predictions failed. But during this conflict, a Trump-appointed official has resigned just 20 days in, while the war is at its most intense. This is not a policy disagreement that accumulated over time. It is a response to something specific. It is a response to something read, heard, or assessed in the classified space in the last few days. A moment where the ammunition supply was destroyed, the air defense was compromised, and the IRGC confirmed new missiles were waiting. We know the classified picture is worse than the public picture because if the official narrative of degraded Iranian capability matched the intelligence, there would be nothing to have misgivings about. This resignation is the most credible signal that the gap between the official narrative and the classified reality is larger than any public coverage has suggested. Consider the casualty numbers. While the administration describes American casualties with vague language like multiple fatalities, a senior intelligence official reads the specific count from each base and the medical evacuation statistics. The gap between what is being said publicly and what the casualty assessments show privately is massive. Furthermore, the National Intelligence Council's assessment that regime change was not achievable through military means has continued throughout this conflict. Every public development, from ammunition destruction to the killing of Larijani, is consistent with a classified trajectory showing a conflict moving toward escalation rather than resolution. This also raises the question of how Iranian targeting data has been so precise. Locating moving high-value targets under maximum security requires internal knowledge. A senior intelligence official knows the counterintelligence working theories and whether American military operations are currently being planned through channels that remain compromised. This resignation creates a massive credibility problem for the administration's information strategy. Every press conference has been organized around claiming progress and minimizing losses. That strategy depends on the absence of authoritative voices, with classified access publicly contradicting it. Congressional critics can be dismissed as uninformed, but a sitting official who was in the building this morning reading the same assessments the president is using cannot be dismissed. They chose to leave rather than continue. This lands in a political environment where 90% of the American public already opposes this war. This resignation provides that 90% with the most credible validation of their instincts yet. It forces a question that has no comfortable answer. If the official narrative were accurate, why would a person with full access to the classified reality choose to leave rather than serve it? Every subsequent claim the administration makes is now heard against the background of a person who read it all and left. Reconstructing the likely classified picture reveals a grim reality. The official count of 7 American service members killed is difficult to reconcile with precision ballistic missile strikes on occupied barracks. The medical evacuation flights and field hospital activations suggest a scale the public narrative does not reflect. Regarding the Iranian missile inventory, the IRGC's use of older missiles while keeping new production in reserve is a reality a senior official would see in detailed production facility reports. If the classified diplomatic assessment shows a negotiated exit that the military strategy is foreclosing, the institutional conflict becomes unbearable. This resignation does not exist in isolation. It creates conditions within the intelligence community. It demonstrates that the misgivings shared by others in the building can be named publicly. Already, Russia and China are using this departure to challenge the American position, framing it as a sign of institutional integrity over political obligation. The most important thing about this resignation is that we do not know specifically what he saw, but we know it was enough to make a Trump appointee walk out 20 days into a war. The door has locked behind him, but the signal is clear. The classified reality is significantly worse than the official story.